Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the DRF Bets race of the day for Friday, March the 2nd, race number 7 at Santa Anita. If you sign up for a new DRF Bets account, you will immediately access a $200 free bet. No deposit required. Just head on over to drf.com/join and use the promo code FREEBET09. Here's the field of some salty sprinters going 6.5 furlongs at the Great Race Place. Again, carded as race number 7. You can access free Formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page on drf.com. Download them and handicap along with us. Matt and I were going to take this field in post position order, and we begin with the number 1 Multiplier, who won the Illinois Derby last year, competed in 2/3 of the Triple Crown Series, but is coming off a real long layoff.
Long layoff. I suppose an argument can be made that ultimately he may be the most talented or one of the more talented ones in this field. The problem is that long layoff. Now he shifts barns. He goes out to the West Coast. And Peter Miller told Steve Anderson in the race advance that this is nothing more than a prep for the Razorback at Oaklawn in a few weeks. So there's a part of me, and you and I talked right before we came on, he's outrun going 1.5 miles. What's he going to be in this spot like this? He's going to be 150 out of it.
Miller told our colleague Steve Anderson he'd just be happy to see this horse running at the end, get him race ready for a race like the Essex at Oaklawn. We'll see. Multiplier, you would think if he was going to really be at his best off a long layoff at a distance shorter than his best, he would need some pace. Let's cue the Timeform US Pace Projector, which is bad news for Multiplier because that blue bar on the Pace Projector indicates this race will favor horses on or near the early lead. Multiplier towards the back of the pack, but the Pace Projector does identify a prime contender in the 2 Red Lightning who could be loose like he was 2 back at this distance.
Yeah, I suppose you can look at that most recent run in the Palos Verdes and say he just didn't pass the acid test. He's not quite as good as those. I'm going to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because I thought the inside did very well at Santa Anita that day, and he was 3-4 paths off the rail throughout. Maybe he is this good, maybe he's not. I don't know. That run 2 starts back when you alluded to, he won gate to wire fashion. That race is kind of wishy-washy. If he gets out there and is able to just walk the dog on the front end, he is going to be tough to beat. It is Santa Anita, after all.
He's won 2 of his 3 starts at this 6.5 furlong distance. The only loss came against Pavel, who is a legitimate graded stakes competitor. He could be a true specialist, and he could be loose on the lead. The 3 is Rocco's Wheel. And all things considering, I thought Rocco's Wheel ran okay last time out at Los Alamitos. It was his first start off a 12-month plus layoff, and he caught a good field. A couple of horses exit that race to win with buyer speed figures of 92 and 90. Rocco's Wheel's going to turn back in distance. Maybe it's a little short for him, but he really likes Santa Anita.
Yeah, he does. He's 3 for 7 here at Santa Anita. There's a part of me that kind of fears the first part you had brought up, that maybe this is nothing more than a means to an end. It looks like he's done his best runs between 7 and a mile, preferably 2 turns. Look, he can come with a little bit of a run. He's another one, though. I feel like he would appreciate some pace, and I don't know if he's going to get it.
Another horse coming off of a lengthy layoff is the number 4. That's River Echo. Now, the last time we saw River Echo during the Del Mar summer meet, he was in against some sharp horses. Curl and Rules won that non-winners at 2 other than. He came back, ran second in the Harry Brubaker with a 98 buyer speed figure. The runner-up came back to win an optional claiming race, a 62.5 with a 95 buyer speed figure. This horse, when he's right, has enough speed to stay within contention early. The question is, what are we going to get off of this long layoff?
You know, the good thing about Peter Miller, if you like a horse like this, he actually does pretty well with these past 2 years dirt, 180-plus day layoffs and sprint races. He's 11 for 46 with a 340 ROI. I think it's also nice to see. You only have to go 3 starts back. It was in New York at Belmont. But he ran very well that day against Duchère, and you see Seeking the Soul, who ultimately became a Grade 1 winner later on. He ran 3rd. I think this is an interesting horse. If you're looking for a kind of a, I don't want to say a bomb of a price because I don't know how high he's going to be, but if you're looking for a decent number, maybe it's River Echo.
The 5 law-abiding citizen missed most of the 2017 campaign, presumably with an injury. When you watch him run, he's got this terrible paddle. You've got to think he's got some sort of conformation or physical problems. But when he's right, he can run a little bit. His most recent dirt start was way back in the 2017 San Vicente, and he didn't break very well. He rushed up down on the inside, battled inside of 2 other horses, and he finished second to Iliad, who came back and ran second in the San Felipe with a 95 buyer. He finished 5 lengths ahead of Battle of Midway, who we all know had a big second half of 2017, winning the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. This horse can step. The question is, can he step any more? His first start off a long layoff on turf was no good, but you could argue he was overmatched.
Well, I guess that's the thing. I actually picked him in that San Vicente. Thought he ran fine, all things considered. Then they went to the turf, and that was a promising enough effort. The problem is then you were separated by about 10 months of a layoff. Look, that Hernandez is arguably a graded stakes caliber field. You saw Reese, Next Shares came back to run very well. Richard's Boy came back to run well. I just don't know at this point on dirt, what are we going to get?
Excitation's the number 6. Looks like this horse was a private purchase after his most recent race, a race in which he finished second against older horses. The 4th place finisher of that race came back to be stakes placed at the fairgrounds with a 92 Beyer speed figure. This horse has that big Beyer showing in the Amsterdam, but I wonder if he took advantage of a strong rail bias that day.
Yeah, agree 100%. Inside was where you wanted to be at Saratoga that day. Take a line out of that. What do you have? You have a horse that's probably not fast enough to win.
The story of the race is the number 7, 10 Blessings. He's fast enough to win. He ran a 106 Beyer 2 starts back, a 102 in the beaten favorite in the Grade 1 Malibu. The problem is, it wasn't the 2017 Malibu, it was the 2016 Malibu. He ran just fine against 2 horses that emerged last year as 2 of the better one-turn horses in the country in Mind Your Biscuits and Sharp Azteca. But this is a very long layoff.
Incredibly long. If he shows up and is ready to run, he's probably the horse to beat in here. But you made mention Mind Your Biscuits, Sharp Azteca. More Spirit was 4th in that race. He was facing the best of the best. The problem is, what do you do with a horse coming off about a 15-month layoff? Worked
on February the 2nd, according to our Clocker crew with the talented 3-year-old Axeman, reportedly second best in that workout, but since then has come back to record 2 bullet workouts. Typical Baffert fare. Listen, if he comes back, he's probably going to win, but he's tough to take a very short price off of that long layoff. Baffert also has the 8 Dr. Door, a winner 2 starts back at this distance. I thought he looked good beating that kind of weakish field. But then he went away for a long time, returned off the bench, finished just behind a horse that came back to run 3rd at Oaklawn with an 89 Beyer speed figure. I've always liked this horse a little bit more than you. I guess, he has some sort of recency over some of the other horses in this race. He's run well at Santa.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. It just he has a recency, and you're right, he's 2 for 4 at Santa Anita. I guess the problem I have is at his best, that low 90, I think that's a fringe player at best. I think you're probably looking at a mid 90 to win this if everybody shows up with their A race, and I don't know if he's capable of doing it.
Beyer par for the race, 94. Let's take a look at our top selections for the Friday DRF Bets race of the day. We'll readily admit that the 7 is the way the horse to beat. If he comes back, he wins. We won't be surprised at all if he does win. We want a little bit more of a price, however. You like Red Lightning. You think he can get out there, just control this pace and scoot on home.
I hope the Timeform US pace projector is accurate. I think he just goes out there. I hope Kent can get some sort of a rated pace. And again, I think something to keep in mind, Palos Verdes Day, that was back on February the 3rd. I thought inside did very well. He was outside throughout. I would use him. Second, I went with that number 7 horse that we talked about for Baffert coming off the layoff. And then the 5, Law-Abiding Citizen. I picked him 3rd.
You're going 2-7-5. I'm going 5, 7 and 2. I'll take a shot with Law-Abiding Citizen. His last dirt race was really promising against good competition, and his most recent start, long layoff against a good field on turf. I'm not going to hold that race against him. He needs to be a little bit closer to the pace. I think he has it in him, and I think the price will be right. I like the rider switch to Pratt here. I'll take a shot with Law-Abiding Citizen. 5, 7, 2, 8 for me in the Friday race of the day. Again, if you sign up for a new DRF Bets account, a $200 free bet is yours. No deposit required. All you have to do is go to drf.com/join and type in the promo code FREEBET09. Approximate post time for the DRF Bets Friday race of the day, the 7th at the Great Race Place, 4 o'clock Pacific. Good luck.